Hey everyone, I'm Brandy Green,
And I'm Dustin Pari.
and you may know us from Ghost Hunters International throughout the years. Hopefully, you watched at least a couple of the shows. Otherwise, what are you doing here watching us now? I mean, come on. So tonight we are going to talk about Predjama Castle and Cachtice Castle. Previously, we've talked about our adventures in North Wales, in the UK, as well as South Africa. So if you haven't watched those, be sure to watch them and catch up with the episodes on Peacock TV. So tonight, we're going to start with Predjama Castle in Slovenia.
Predjama Castle, I think, was one of the coolest locations we ever got to explore and visit. Like, when you think of fairy tale castle, like, Predjama Castle was that. I mean, it was built right into the cliffside. There was water beneath it and everything. It was amazing.
Okay, so we've been to a lot of really old locations. I mean, that's one of the benefits of doing the international show, right? But I have to say, I think this was the oldest location. It was nearly 1,000 years old when we were there. I think it's probably reached that marker by now. And so what I primarily remember is our drive up to this mountain cliff, and your jaw hit the ground when you saw it. I've still never seen anything like it since.
The stories for the place were fantastic, and just when you pull up to it, it really does have that whole like storybook appeal, for sure. And I've never seen a place that was so amazing, and being carved and built into the mountainside like that. I mean, from a strategic standpoint, it was obviously very advantageous for the gentleman that was there. And just for location, it was just so beautiful. It was one of the best. And we kept calling it Castle Pajama Jammy Jam, which was also fun.
I'm pretty sure that you were the only one that called it that, but
everybody, we almost called the whole episode that. We almost renamed it that.
Yeah, we literally, from the road, we called up SyFy and we were like, look, we're only going to let this air on one condition.
That just makes sense. Absolutely. If I could just get my hair to do like the high top, like kid and play look, it would have been great.
Yeah, with that upside down visor.
You just let that go. There's nothing wrong with it. Everyone knew who I was when I was there.
You certainly did. So you guys actually, I was a little jealous of everyone else because I was paired up with Andy Andrews for, honestly, it felt like 90% of the investigation, and we were down in the cave system, which was like underneath the castle. But you guys actually got to go on the entire tour. Yeah. And what I do remember is our client.
Yeah.
Our client was this young guy, very enthusiastic, very excited that we were there and that he could be a part of this. His name was Vojko.
Yeah, he was a smooth talking, nice looking little fella.
And he made sure to introduce himself to every single person on the cast and crew. Hi, I'm Vojko. Hi, I'm Vojko. Hi, I'm Vojko. With like different inflection every time.
It was great. It's that old world European charisma and proper, state of being that you don't get in today's world. It's really nice. I enjoyed meeting Vojko.
Yes, Vojko was very nice, and he told us about, well, one primary claim coming from the entire complex, which was what, Dustin?
I believe Vojko called it Footshteps.
Yeah. Everywhere, every single room.
Right. You get to be Vojko, and I'll ask. So Vojko, what happens here in the hallway?
Oh, sometimes people hear footsteps.
Oh, footsteps. Okay. So what about up here in like the balcony area? What happens there, Vojko?
Same thing, footsteps.
Footsteps. It was so great though, and the place was so nice, but it was just one of those cases where it's like the claim across the whole place is just kind of something that, you know, people like us is just kind of like mundane, you know?
Normally it would be, I think, honestly, truly speaking, I think normally we probably would have just said no, but look at the location and the history. How could you say no to
Right.
Predjama Castle?
Predjama Castle. Yes. It was grand. I remember, I really like the story. Like sometimes I remember the stories more than the activity, but the story of the gentleman that had the castle, like when he was under attack by whatever the warring faction was, he was well-to-do there. He had the tunnel system, so he had food coming in from the other side. And then like winter was coming or whatever, and he actually sent his servants out with food to take care of the warring faction. Like the people that were attacking him, he's still taken care of. And unfortunately that became his downfall because one of his servants like became friendly with one of the, you know, the attackers. And they said, okay, like, you know, we'll give a signal. And I think they put like a lantern, like a candle in the window. It was in his bathroom of all places. You don't want to go in the bathroom. But he like went to the bathroom and the servant put the candle out there and they knew that's where they had to like focus their attack or like whatever it was they shot at the place.
Yeah, well, look, I never trust my servants. So,
Right,
I
right,
mean,
of course. That's right. With all that reality money that you have, I'm sure you've got
oh, I'm sitting
everyone,
comfortable.
yeah,
Oh,
tending to you. Right. This COVID thing hasn't bothered you at all. You get the servants doing all the work.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like I said, I was with Andy 90% of the time.
Well, he likes caves, and you were small.
Well, this is true. We both were. We were both like the smallest of the team. So
Yeah,
it
the
made
rest of us
sense.
would have had a duck like the entire night. That would have been awful.
Um, but I remember that we were discussing like the compound, you know, of what made up the caves, you know, like what could maybe potentially act as like a reservoir for activity, right? Something that could entice paranormal activity.
Right, right.
So we're looking around and he's like, ooh, what's this? And right away, I was like, it looks like salt. Like it looks like this area is like salt and like
Right.
iron.
Yeah, I
But
remember
no,
that.
my deduction
Not good
wasn't
enough.
enough for Andy Andrews. Andy had to put his life on the line for the truth
Yeah. He's
by
good.
he licked the cave wall.
It's a century old, though. That's going to be safe.
Well, yeah, you know, we thought, oh, well, it's Andy. Later, what, a week ago, as we were leaving, we were told, by the way,
Yeah.
there's this red mold that grows specifically down in that cave system, and it is extremely toxic and could probably kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the boy lived.
Anything for the truth. See what
Yeah.
we did? We put our lives on the line for you
Right.
people.
For footsteps.
All for
Footsteps.
Footsteps. Yep.
Everywhere. It's a good place. So it was a decent case. I mean, I remember in terms of evidence, like I think there were some recordings of some footsteps, but what else did we get over there?
Yeah, so funny enough, the one time I got to escape from the cave and go elsewhere within the castle, I went with Barry up to the oldest portion of the cave. It's just like this wall, but it's like basically the interior of the upper cave system, and almost 1,000 years old. And he and I were up there. We were doing an EVP session and running, you know, the full spectrum and a bunch of other stuff. And I can't remember if he was at the top or I was at the top. There was like the staircase. And I thought I had heard a voice. But look, you're kind of out in the elements. So you kind of brush it off, but you keep a mental note, like to check the audio. And when we did review, we got what sounded like a voice coming from the oldest portion of the cave. And I think that there was another piece of evidence, visual evidence with you, Barry, and someone else.
Oh, from the full spectrum camera.
Yeah.
like a mist or something that we captured in one of the rooms, and then it wasn't there afterwards.
Right. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
it almost looked like an apparition,
Yeah.
just with movement, and then it was gone.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that place was nice. I mean, it did have a lot of cool little places to it. Like you said, like the claims weren't heavy duty going in there, but it's one of those things where you don't close yourself off and you just see what else, happens. And when you get out of the caves once in a while, you get to maybe see or hear something.
Once in a while, I get to crawl out of my golem cave and like actually see the real world.
That was always tough. Like I remember like filming, um, you'd go on the tour, or even if you weren't part of the on camera tour, you'd still tour the place and check it out. And in your head, you're like, oh, I want to go here. I want to go to this room. Like this place looks amazing. And then like production's like, all right, we're gonna put you guys down here, and then we'll split. We'll move you around later. And then like later's like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Oh, we gotta wrap. We gotta get these guys. The camera's on overtime. We gotta wrap tonight. It's like, oh, like
All
that
the
was
time.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to go back on my own time without the confines of like a filming schedule and boom, boom, boom. We have to hit these locations with story beats and all of that. Just even if it wasn't haunted, just to take in 1,000 years worth of history. I mean,
Yeah.
that's hard to come by.
Yeah, for sure. It's the Predjama. I always want to call it Predjama Castle. Predjama Castle was amazing. It was a beautiful place to tour. I think honestly, my favorite part was just I remember hanging out with Joe Chin outside on the wall, just like taking pictures of the place, and like just being there just seemed to be amazing.
Right. Well, I do wonder if Voiko still works there because I do recall when you kind of let him know what was going on in the place, he was
Mhm.
kind of freaked out.
Yeah.
And I think he said he was going to quit. So
Well, wherever
I
he
am
is,
interested to find
wherever
out.
he is, I hope he's introducing himself nicely to people and always listening for footsteps wherever they may be.
Indeed.
Good job.
All right, so that was Predjama Castle, again in Slovenia. The next case was actually just a hop, skip, and a jump over to Slovakia, to Cachtice Castle, otherwise known as the Blood Countesses or Lady Bathory's Castle. So the Blood Countess, she is kind of known as like the first female vampire. So when we got there, honestly, I don't know about you, Dustin. I was kind of expecting a bit more of an imposing structure,
Yeah.
but it was kind of just all ruins.
Yeah, you hear the term castle and you automatically think it's going to be like, a big Disney style facade, but this is an ancient castle and there's not much left to it. So it's basically like an old stone house on a hill kind of thing with like a tower, but now most of it's knocked down. And I remember so it was obviously like really hokey, like somebody like tried to put paint on there to make it look like blood on one of the walls. There's like a handprint or something like that. Because the whole story was that she was obviously, charged with some crimes, whether she was bathing or drinking the blood of young virgin girls of the town or not, who knows? But like she had to be like stuck there for the rest of her time, right? Wasn't that her deal?
Yeah, so she was imprisoned in a section of the castle where she did die. Um, and I honestly cannot remember, but I think that portion of the castle is gone. I think all that's left is sort of like just a hole with a bunch of rocks like around it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the case of it. As the case of it, a lot of the ruins, and like any place that we had to investigate ever that was in ruins was always a challenge, just because you're outdoors, you don't have even proper shielding from the wind, so you're out there in the elements at night, and you try to put a windscreen over like some of the devices and stuff, but you never get the quality that you're going to get in a nice quiet location where you're kind of safe and surrounded by walls and things like that. So whether or not the good lady was there, the tower was definitely not there, and I don't remember anything else really going on.
No, I mean, definitely the contamination of just mainly exterior location was really, really tough. I think that was probably one of my first experiences being truly out in the elements. Prior to GHI, like I had my own home team, and you know, we did the typical residential or businesses, and that was indoors. So investigating outside, a lot of challenges with that. Really, all I remember is the view. The view from the top where we were was really cool. But it was super windy. And I mean, I remember going into like a hole at some point. Maybe it was where she supposedly died. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I think there were a couple bats down there. Other than that, I think that was pretty much the only activity we got, aside from me almost being knocked off the side of the cliff.
That was just in filming B-roll, right? Weren't we just trying to film like a new open or something for the show?
Oh yeah. So we were, if people remember the intro to the original, like when I was on, we did this flying view shot where, you know, the leader of the team, then, you know, the sequential team members kind of go towards the camera. And I was on the side of the cliff, and Andy was next to me, and for whatever reason, he just kept getting closer and closer to me, and we were supposed to follow, like, you know, what, 2 feet distance or something.
Yeah, it was.
I eventually was like literally walking a tightrope on the edge of this cliff. I was like, really? Like, is this on purpose? Or you just, your equilibrium is off? Like, what's going on?
They're just kind of testing your metal, you know? Just those things are always so interesting. It's like walk slower. It's like this weird, like we want to be Reservoir Dogs, but we're not. So everyone just kind of walks slowly and don't look happy. I used to always get in trouble, like don't smile. Don't smile. I'm like, if you look at a lot of the team photos, everybody's in black and I've got like a green jacket or like a gray hoodie. Like I could never commit to the look.
With your upside down visor.
Again, just trying to do my own thing, you know? That's all. Just love me or hate me, but know I'm on stage. That was pretty much the goal, I think.
No, I think Barry was like the only one, for whatever reason, because he was Irish, I don't know, they like gave him a pass and let him smile. He was like the only one that was allowed to like smile.
You can't have a grumpy Irishman. He has to be happy all the time. That was in his contract.
It probably was. I wouldn't be surprised. So I do remember, I believe it was the Lady Bathory case. Before or after, directly, because I think we were staying in Hungary when we filmed it.
I think so.
But we like crossed over the border or something, and we did an outing, another outing for the team that never made air. And I remember we went to a winery.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, it was a great one because they thought it was like the best idea ever. To have the one and only female cast member siphon the wine out of the cask.
Right.
That was just a great visual.
I shall make no comment on this. I was not directing it or producing it, and nothing to do with it. Just there.
Shocking that it never made air. I do remember a cast member, and I will not mention names,
right,
that accidentally put the car in gear.
Yeah.
Going forward.
It was, I had a little bit too much wine, perhaps, at the time. Was the case for that cast member?
And clearly, one of the many reasons it never made air.
Yeah, probably. I was not the worst offender. I just was not used to the alcohol content of fine European wine.
It's true. Actually, I will say, we did probably 3 or 4 wine outings that by the second one we knew.
Right, why are we doing this?
We're going to make air. But to complain about like free wine. Like, yeah,
for sure. It was one of the few perks that we got. So somebody else is going to drive you around and you can drink some wine. Like, okay, this seems all right.
It's so true.
Yeah. I wonder what ever happened to all that footage because they filmed it all.
I don't know. Anyone that actually has the DVDs, which,
Yeah.
by the way, we were never gifted
Not one.
the DVDs. Like, we were the cast members, but
Yeah.
never got them.
I don't have one disc.
Now, if you have the DVDs, if there are any, like, blooper scenes or extras, like, let us know what is on those mystery DVDs, because
Mystery.
I really don't know.
Me neither. You know what's funny is like the resale value of them, because I've tried to look for them and they're like pricey. I'm like, are you kidding? Like, no offense to our wonderful program, but I wouldn't pay that.
No,
You know?
no one should. But,
No.
but this is where Peacock TV comes in. Now, you would
right.
think that we're getting like a kickback from Peacock TV, but we're not. We just
It's not their
want to
fault.
watch
It's not
the
their
show we used to be on like a million years ago. So
Yeah. It's all right. It's good to be alive in reruns anyway, somewhere.
it truly is. So with that, we will leave you. That was Predjama Castle and Cachtice Castle. And until next time, Dustin.
Until next time, join us back here. We shall have more fuzzy memories from the road.
That is our title, right?
I think that is, yes. Let's check. If not, we'll change it.